and welcome back to Mobile Dispatches. I'm Deborah, and in this video, I've got some guests who are going to share insights about the digital nomad remote worker lifestyle. These days, more and more people are thinking about working remotely abroad. They see it as a way to travel more and live a life less controlled by the confines of a regular job. The digital nomad lifestyle may be more achievable than you think. I spoke with some women in Chiang Mai, Thailand, who are making it work. Some are raising children abroad. Some have created their own businesses. One leads a very nomadic life, moving around the world frequently. I asked them how they manage their lives and what advice they might give to someone who's considering this lifestyle. Let's start with Lily Bruns. She's been working remotely since 2013 and is now the Thailand country manager for Draper Startup House. Draper is a global chain of hostels and co-working spaces for remote workers and digital nomads.
But I got on this path to be location independent when I got a job working remotely with a legal technology company. And so there was a team based in New York, but we were spread across all over the US, and we used tools to connect online and run the team. And I asked, how remote can I be? And so they let me travel, 12 time zones away to hang out in Thailand. And so you don't have to have your own business. I then shifted to become a freelancer because 12-hour time zone difference was really challenging. So I thought I would take my skills and shop them out to people as a service provider. And so then I started working with people more locally to my time zone for wherever I was based at the time.
Chiang Mai is one of the most popular worldwide hubs for digital nomads. They come for the connection with other remote workers, the ease of short-term accommodations, low cost of living, beautiful scenery, friendly people, and of course, amazing food. I want you to meet Casey Drilette. She's been living abroad since 2011. Right now, she's living in Chiang Mai with her husband and her new baby. She works remotely for a company in the US and runs her own education business online. She'll tell you why Chiang Mai is such a popular choice with remote workers. She'll also share a bit of her enthusiasm for the remote worker lifestyle.
Chiang Mai is popular with digital nomads because one, it's really low cost of living. It's considerably cheaper than a lot of places, even in Southeast Asia. Two, it's really friendly. The people here are open and it's easy to make friends. There's already a great community established here, and so it's easy to get plugged in with people. Great co-working spaces, transportation, very easy to get around, and still it's like a beautiful location. There's lots to do, lots to see. So I think that's why it just is a really popular spot. If you're wondering if this lifestyle is for you, some things to consider would be that you will be completely out of your comfort zone. Are you okay with trying new things and not having things go your way and essentially just having the craziest things maybe you can imagine happen to you? I found that living in Asia, like one of the things I love about my time here is that no 2 days are the same. It's just a gamble of what's going to happen. But I love that energy and how freeing it is, and it keeps life exciting.
Now I want you to meet Brittnee Bond. She's American and has been working remotely for 5 years. In that time, she's traveled to or lived in more than 50 countries. Chiang Mai is her Asian home base. She's the founder of a group called the Remote Collective, whose members connect internationally. She also runs a remote work consulting company.
If you're interested in this lifestyle, anything related to what I'm doing, remote work, traveling, digital nomads, and you don't know how to get started, I have a couple tips for you. First off, you can do it. Like the thing that I always tell people when I'm consulting or I'm working, especially with women, is that it's really important to believe in your head mentally that you can accomplish this.
Some remote workers choose to work at a number of freelance jobs. Others prefer the security of a more permanent remote position. In either case, if you're thinking about adopting a remote working lifestyle, you probably need to analyze your skill set to see what you can offer as a freelancer or remote employee.
For someone who's interested in this life or wondering how to set themselves on the path, I think it really starts with your skills because being a digital nomad or being location independent is completely predicated on having a skill and having a service that you can still deliver to someone regardless of where you are. So technology helps us with so much of that. but you can be teaching English online. You know, that's one thing that many different people do. You can be a content creator, you can become a YouTube sensation, but you can also be a lawyer, a therapist, a brand consultant if you're still able to connect with your clients online. So if you're interested in starting on this path, I think you have to first just do a little skills audit, like what am I good at and how can that parlay into something that can that I can take on the road with me. How can I package that and serve my customers online?
If you're thinking about working remotely, the first thing I would suggest is to find an actual remote job. There's lots of different job sites and different things you can do online. Some people prefer to work freelance through sites like Upwork and Fiverr. I find that really challenging. There are lots of sites that can help you find remote positions. Search for remote work or work from home. There's Facebook groups that have job postings. There's tons of resources online now to find any type of online position. So that's where I would start, because being financially secure when you move abroad just makes a world of difference.
Sarah Butler and her husband were ahead of the remote working trend. They left their home in Australia in 2012 for the Philippines and are now living with their 2 children in Chiang Mai. Sarah works remotely for a company in Australia.
My husband was working with a business in Australia and had business coaches and mentors that had said to him, anything's possible remotely. And probably 2010 we had hired remote workers in the Philippines. He travelled to the Philippines and saw the opportunity and what was possible there through work colleagues. And then sort of through that idea he just went, well, I think we should try this, you know, move somewhere else and move the business or move what he was doing face to face as a bricks and mortar business to something more online. Our original plan was sort of to stay somewhere 5 to 10 years and then move, totally pick everything up and leave. Just between living in the Philippines and living here, and I guess with the kids' schoolwork and stability, we've kind of learned that doesn't work as well for a younger family and bringing that consistency to the kids. So we decided to stay here, and when the borders open up and when we're able to travel again, this will be our base. We can go and travel somewhere else, whether it be a short trip or whether it be, on the kids' school holidays for a month or 2, we could go somewhere else and travel. So we can still integrate what we value in seeing different countries, but still have a base that, that's stability for the kids, same area, same school, things like that.
Some digital nomads start out teaching abroad or working remotely and then decide to start their own online business.
I think the nature of both work and travel are changing a lot. So these days, you don't have to have a traditional career and stay in the same place, work at the same company all your life. You are challenged to actually do more, I think, realistically. And when you're an entrepreneur and you run your own business, that allows you to have a little more control or a little more flexibility. And that comes with its trade-offs. But if you're up to the challenge of building your own business, then that gives you this wonderful freedom to choose when you work, how you work, and then where you work. I think travel and experiences are so important to us now. And when you decide to become a digital nomad or pursue location independence, you don't have to choose.
My online company is called Study Room Learning, and it is an online education company. What ended up happening was, after I left China, I had been working in education and I still had a lot of students that wanted to take classes with me. So essentially it started out as a side hustle where I was just teaching online. I have a partner in China and she manages it all. So she does like sales and marketing. And by this year, with everything that happened with the virus and everything moving online, my number of students essentially tripled and I just couldn't do it by myself anymore. So I started contracting out teachers, and I manage the teachers and curriculum, and she manages sales, and she talks with the parents, and we offer classes for students who are essentially looking to either attend boarding school or go to university in the States.
So I think a digital nomad is someone who has the freedom and flexibility to take their life and their career on the road. And so usually that involves being able to work online. That's kind of a prerequisite. But I think, you know, the nature of work is changing. And when you're an entrepreneur, you know, then you can control how much of your business you want to turn off and on.
Now I'm going to let the Chiang Mai women tell you some more about their lives and give you some advice on how you can get started making your plans for living abroad and working remotely. We'll start with Amanda Gedney. She also lives in Chiang Mai and owns a company called Settle In Abroad. She helps people who want to relocate to Thailand.
There's never been more remote working opportunities, especially after COVID-19. So your opportunities could be teaching English online, you could do freelance on a website like Fiverr or Upwork. There are really many opportunities that you may not realize. So think a little bit about what your skills might be that make you excited, and that would be the first step, trying to find that online job.
The Remote Collective formed organically through all of us meeting in different co-working spaces that I've run around the world, and different meetups, festivals, everything. So slowly, people from different countries, we would start getting in this network group chats, and we have a Facebook group, and then we'd plan to meet up in certain locations every time of the year so that we can have a really great time together, co-work, co-live, all of that. Now, because of lockdown around the world, we're focused here in Thailand. There's about 40 of us living together here in Chiang Mai, but the wider community is about 200 of us in the city. And we have a group chat and we say, this is yoga for the day, this is where we're co-working, a lot of us work online. But some of us are also in the spiritual community where we're healers and we are into fitness. So there's like lots of different people and lots of different age groups from, you know, early 20s to late 50s, early 60s. And we love everyone. We want everyone to come together. And not just foreigners. We really encourage integrating with the local community. So we do a lot of events here in Thai and in English. And wherever we are, we try and just integrate and bring all the different cultures together.
I think what makes many people interested in this lifestyle is they feel there's a lack of something, fulfillment in their career, they feel stuck, they just, they're unhappy. So I think happiness is usually kind of like the end goal. Actually, for many people starting this life, it was certainly that way myself. I was burnt out and I was like, there has to be a better way to live. And my friends and the people I notice in the digital nomad community who are doing the best are people who take that and actually work on it. People who want to work on themselves, people who want to grow, people who want to feel fulfilled, you know? You want to be the best person that you can. You want to connect with people who inspire you to level up, to do more. You want to build a career that is not just about, you know, trading time for money. You actually want your time to be spent doing something that like brings you joy or leads you towards your passions or makes an impact, you know, whatever that is for you. Then again, some people like it because they want to work like 2 hours a day and their money is making them money, right? Because they live to, they don't want to live to work. So again, it's, I think the people who are going to succeed and the people who are drawn to this life are the people who want something better out of life and are willing to work to get it. And improving yourself, I think, is a big part to being able to achieve that goal.
Some of the advantages that we found living in Thailand or a foreign country was learning a different culture, being exposed to different challenges and different hurdles that we maybe haven't experienced, and just breaking out of the mindset that everybody lives like they live in Australia. And I think my kids have got a really good exposure, and me and my husband as well, as to, you know, life is not always how it is where we've been brought up. And it's sort of expanded our thinking and our value system and learned to appreciate and be grateful for everything that we have.
If you choose to adopt this digital nomad lifestyle, there are some qualities you should think about that you might need to work on, and you probably do already have within yourself, such as being open-minded, being resilient, and not having too high of expectations, because it may be a year or so that you think about, you're so excited to start this digital nomad lifestyle, and the first location you go to might not be perfect. Things might not work out. You might run into visa issues, who knows? But just know there are so many countries in this world that you can go to so many different locations, and you can find this all out through Facebook and community of other people living places. So don't get too hung up saying, I'm moving to Bali, I'm gonna live there forever. Don't put that pressure on yourself. You gave yourself this lifestyle to have the freedom and to really be your happiest self. So you'll find that place eventually. So no pressure at all.
I think the biggest challenge to manage when you start on the path to being a digital nomad is finding that work-life-play balance. It's really hard to be working and to be productive, especially if you're building a new business when you're on the road. And a lot of people get really excited about the travel portion and they ignore the work portion to, their own detriment. So I think slow travel and just planning to stay a longer length of time in one place is going to give you a much better experience. Invest in one community, stick around for a while, you'll make friends, you'll be able to plan, work and play and really get to know a place and experience the culture. So I think if you can gear yourself that way rather than thinking oh my gosh, I'm on holiday mindset because I have to choose one or the other. No, you have to reframe things. You don't have to bang out all these different places, all these different locations all in one go. That's if you only had, X amount of vacation days in a year. But if you can think about it as hey, I'm gonna spend the first half of my day working on my laptop and getting everything out, and then I'm gonna take a break and go have a 2-hour lunch with my friend and maybe go for a hike because I can. And then I'll check my emails again in the evening because this is when my clients in this time zone are waking up.
So you found your first online job. Great. Don't worry, you don't have to have the same job forever. Who knows, you might even start your own business one day, but the first step is getting that first freelance job and not having that boss and that 9 to 5. So what you need to do next is research a bit about where you want to live. But don't get too caught up on the internet. Google can be your best friend, but also it cannot be. So there's many Facebook groups about digital nomad communities all over the world. So that's really what we have a wonderful advantage with right now with Facebook. It's a huge place where you can get everything that you need and even be messaging someone that might be the first person you meet in your new location.
Thanks so much for dropping by today, and I hope my guests gave you lots to think about. I've posted some links in the description below that you might find helpful if you're looking for a remote job. Leave a comment to say hello or share your plans and dreams with our community. Bye for now, and I'll see you again soon.